Hello everyone and welcome to the Kiki London YouTube channel. My name is Amanda. In today's video, of course, we're going to be finishing off with a Valentine's set of nails as it is Valentine's today, so happy Valentine's Day. Now, I did have a few Valentine designs that I didn't get to kind of like fit in to individual sets, so I thought I would try and put a few of them together today. Now, one of the designs I really wanted to try, which isn't necessarily a Valentine's design, but I've seen it in quite a few Valentine's looks, was the cat's eye gel nail design, but with a black jelly top coat over the top. So that's what we're going to be doing on the first two nails. Now, I really quickly want to say I am working on press-on nail tips that I've already applied to my nails, and I've simply buffed the surface of these to remove the shine. So if you was doing this on your natural nails, of course, you would do your prep and your base coat before coming in with your black gel polish. For my black gel polish today, I am using Classic Black from the Hem Free range. This is such a highly pigmented black and it's really nice to work with as well. It's not thick or anything like that. It goes on absolutely beautifully. I would normally recommend applying this in 2 thin coats. I'm actually only going to be applying 1 coat for today because we're doing that layered look where we're going to be applying our cat's eye and then making a black jelly mix to go over the top as well. So I didn't want the nail to end up too thick and bulky, and because we're coming over the top with the cat's eye gel polish, I felt as though 1 coat was pigmented enough. So I'm going to do 1 coat of this on both my thumb and ring finger. Now, the thing about black gel polish is it's not any harder to apply than any other color, as long as you keep your application nice and thin. However, it will show up every little imperfection, similar with red. So if you are starting out in nails, they are 2 good colors to really practice with, because if you can get your application perfect with the harder colors, then of course it's going to be perfect with the easier colors. Now, something I find to me a necessity is using my stripe liner brush to get a nice neat cuticle application, and either the round or the angled nail art brush. I use this to clean up, as you see there, with a little bit of alcohol in case any product does touch the skin or cuticles. So we've cured our first coat of black, and then we're going to be using a Cherry Spark cat's eye gel polish. I really love this one. It's such a gorgeous color, and you can use this over any color and it kind of gives off different effects, but I do love it over a black nail. So I'm going to apply a thin coat of this to the thumb now, applying it exactly the same as we applied our black gel polish. You want to keep your application nice and thin, nice and even, getting it nice and neat at that cuticle area. So I'm going in with nice long strokes with my brush, and then I'll kind of just touch up around those cuticles or sidewalls area. It's always a little bit harder when you're working on yourself because you've got to pull your skin back with one hand whilst working with that same hand, etc. So once you have got your cat's eye gel polish down, you want to take your magnet and create the magnetic cat's eye effect. So I'm just going from side to side, kind of really going quite close, so we really push those magnetic particles into the center. And then once you're happy with that effect, you're going to pop this in to cure for 30 seconds, and just look how beautiful this looks. So I'm going to do the same again on the ring finger. And then this, like this, just with the cat's eye gel polish, is such a beautiful look. You could simply top coat this or apply some stamping or whatever nail art over the top that you wanted, and away you go. But I've really loved seeing cat's eye in a black jelly top coat. So if you don't have a black jelly top coat, you can kind of create one yourself. So that's what we're going to be doing in today's video. So again, I'm just creating that similar swoosh on the ring finger as what we did on the thumbnail. So they're a little bit matchy. I really love this look for cat's eye. And then again, you're going to pop that in to cure for 30 seconds. You can play around with your magnetic effect as much as you want before curing it, and then once you're happy with it, you can pop it into cure. Now, to create that jelly effect top coat, I'm going to go in with my no wipe top coat and then a small amount of that same Classic Black gel polish. You want to be really careful that you're not contaminating your bottles when you're doing this. So I'm going to use my round nail art brush to mix these 2 colors together, and then I'm also going to use this to apply it to the nail. Now, the reason I done this on a clear, so I'm using a glass palette here, was because you can really see how well you've mixed those 2 colors together, because you want to make sure that it has mixed nicely and it's not got like a marble effect going on. And you can also see how pigmented you've made it. So if you've made it too black, then you can come in with a little bit more top coat. If it's not black enough, you can come in and add a little bit more black gel polish. And by doing it on a clear palette, you can really see the effect you've created, basically. So then I'm just going to apply a thin coat of this over the entire cat's eye effect that we've created, and you can still see that cat's eye effect. However, it just really creates this really fun dimensional look. Like, I think this would look really nice in a galaxy set of nails as well. Kind of gives off that galaxy vibe, but I really liked that it gave off that black Valentine vibe. So I was just showing the comparison here compared to on the ring finger, where we've not yet done that jelly effect, and how it alters it slightly on the thumbnail. So I thought it was a really fun look, and it's something that I wanted to create in a Valentine set of nails. I did want to have a set where I did this predominantly on all nails, and then on some of them come in with some heart stamping and some red crystals, but I wanted to try and throw in a few other designs, so I didn't go with that for today's set. This was kind of a bit of a mix and match set of nails. So we're doing that same again on the ring finger. You want to make sure that you're keeping that coat nice and even, and just gently applying it over the entire nail. If you're struggling to get a neat cuticle application here, you can still come in with your stripe liner brush and do that there as well. But I just done it all with the round nail art brush. I do find that this is small enough to get a nice neat application with. It's kind of like a little bit easier than a bottle brush because it's smaller. And then that was those two nails finished. So that was a really fun technique to try out. Now, another thing that I wanted to do is I really wanted to do a red set of nails with Queen of Hearts, because I don't think I got around to doing one last Valentine's Day, because I used Love Crush from the Lady in Red collection quite a lot instead of Queen of Hearts. And this is such a gorgeous red. It kind of gives off a really nice summer vibe as well. So if you haven't got this red in your collection, I would highly recommend checking it out. So I decided to apply this on the pointer and the little finger, and it is such a vibrant bright red. I don't usually go for these kind of bright reds on myself, but I really loved this one, so I had to give it a go. Like I said, last year when this collection launched, it was the Lady in Red collection, I wore Love Crush on myself, and that quickly became my favorite red. But this one is really beautiful if you're wanting something super bright. It kind of has a little bit of a coral tone to it as well. So we've applied our first coat of this, cured it for 30 seconds, and although again it's a very pigmented shade, it's always recommended to come in and apply 2 thin coats, and you get even more opacity and even more brightness shining through. So I'm going to come in and apply my second coat of this, very gently capping the tip of the nail on my second coat as well, just making sure that brush is fully covering the entire tip of your nail, and then you're going to minimize any chipping issues. And this did pair, I wouldn't say it fully paired with the Cherry Spark, but it kind of worked. I do have some nail art designs we're going to do over the top of them, but I decided to get all my bases done now. So we're going to come in with Nude Tan on the middle finger, and this was a design I see done in acrylic, and I wanted to give it a go and see if I could recreate it in gel polish. And it was basically a nude French with hearts embedded in the French nail bed area, sorry, not the tip, and then a cat's eye tip. So that's similar to what we're going to do, but we're going to be using the hearts top coat rather than embedding any glitter, because we are just working with gel polish rather than encapsulating with builder gel. And sometimes it's really fun to recreate similar designs but using different products to see how you can make it work based on the system that you're using or the system that your client prefers, because sometimes you might get a client bring in an acrylic set of nails but they don't actually want acrylics, they want gel polish. So you can usually adapt the design to get it to work. So moving on to the designs that I wanted to try, I wanted to give these blooming gel flowers a try. I see these in red and black, and I thought it was a really fun look for Valentine's Day. So over the top of that Queen of Hearts, I'm going to apply a thin coat of blooming gel. I'm applying it to the entire nail, and then you're going to leave this wet. And then I'm going to take a large size dotting tool and that classic black gel polish and simply do a dotting tool flower, so with the 5 dots, very simple, but because you're doing it in the blooming gel, the edges of this are going to bloom and it creates a really fun effect. I love working with blooming gel, but a lot of the time I will stick to a marble, so it's fun to sometimes mix it up and do something else. The set I see had flowers and hearts, and it kind of looked quite cool how the hearts bloomed, and it kind of gave a bit of a broken hearted effect, but I loved how the flowers looked the most, so I wanted to give that a go. So as you can see, they're starting to bloom. I did leave it off camera for a few more seconds to bloom until I was happy of how it looked, and then I popped that in to cure for 30 seconds. What's great about this design is you could easily do this maybe on a light color base with lots of bright colors like pastels or even neons, and it would look really fun for spring and summer as well. So on to the middle finger, I mentioned I wanted to do this glitter heart cat's eye tip French. So I'm starting off with the classic black and my French brush, and I'm going to come in and do a French tip. So I'm loading up my French brush, kind of mapping out on this first coat how I want my French to go. So I went down and done my base with my French using both sides of my brush, but then I wanted to bring that French in a little bit more because we're doing a cat's eye tip. I really want it to pop, so I'm just using the length of the brush and the curve of the brush to create that smile line shape, and I'm just checking from all angles that it matches up from side to side. And then I just wanted it to look a little bit neater, so I'm coming in with my round nail art brush and a little bit of alcohol and just cleaning up the edges there just to get that nice and crisp. And I like to try and get my French tip as perfect as I can on the first coat, because then it's going to make the second coat easier, or any nail art that you're doing over the top easier. I did keep this super thin because I wanted to do 2 coats of classic black and then the cat's eye over the top, and you don't want to end up with that bulky tip. So I'm coming in doing my second coat, loading up my brush. You do, when you're working with the French brush, you do kind of need to have a generous amount of product on there to get it to go on nice and streak free, but because I was trying to keep it nice and thin, I was just playing around there with how much I had on the brush and brushing off some of the excess. And then again, I'm going to go in with the round nail art brush and clean up before popping that in to cure again for 30 seconds. We're then going to stick with that same cat's eye that we used on the thumb and ring finger, so the gorgeous cherry spark. And then I didn't have anything to hand to clean up my French brush. I'd run out of alcohol pads to hand, so I just went in with my bottle brush and the stripe liner brush. So this is a great way to do your French. If you don't have a French brush, you can just use your stripe liner brush. I would map it out still first of all, but here you can see it's a small area to work on anyway, and we don't actually need the French brush for this step because we have already got the French planned out. So we're just simply coming over the top with that cat's eye gel polish, doing the majority of it with the bottle brush, and then kneading it up with a stripe liner brush, and then coming in with our magnet to create the cat's eye effect. And I thought this looked quite nice on the French tip and tied in with the ring and thumbnail. So I popped this in to cure for 30 seconds, and then like I said, the design I see had embedded hearts on the nail bed part of the nail. So for ease, I'm going to do this with the hearts top coat. So the hearts top coat is a clear no wipe top coat with these cute pink and red glitter hearts in them. So I'm going to come over the entire nail, so we're top coating the tip part of that nail as well, but I don't want any of the hearts on the French tip part of the nail. I only want them on the nail bed area. So I nudged any out of place that had gone on to the tip part of the nail, and then I ended up popping a little bit of that top coat down onto my palette so that I could pick up a few more hearts, because in the design I see the nail bed area was completely covered with hearts. So I'm just using my stripe liner brush to nudge those hearts around, getting out a few more red ones as I had more pink ones than red ones on the nail. So I'm just taking my stripe liner brush, moving those into place. And the great thing about this top coat is it does self-level. So even if you've used it for nail art purposes and played around with it like I have done, you can just give it a few seconds before popping it into cure, and it will self-level, so you've got a nice smooth base. Now I haven't actually used my hearts top coat in ages, so a lot of my hearts had settled to the bottom. So if this happens, what I would recommend doing is just rolling the bottle between the palms of your hands to give it a kind of like a similar to what stirring would do, just to shake up those hearts that have settled on the bottom a little bit. And then yeah, I decided to hearts top coat the little finger as well, as I wanted to keep this nice and simple, and it looked quite cute. I just opted for having the pink ones over on the little finger though. So we do need to top coat the rest of the nail. So even though we did create our jelly top coat mix for the ring and thumbnail, I still wanted to go in and top coat with just a top coat, because obviously where we'd mix classic black in with the top coat to create that jelly effect, I didn't want it to affect any chipping issues. So if you do create your own jelly color, I would still recommend going in with a thin layer of no wipe top coat over the top, just to make sure everything is sealed in perfectly. So that's exactly what I'm doing here on all of the nails that we didn't apply the hearts top coat to. Just a thin coat of this and you're ready to go. You've got all that shine back and then everything is sealed in. I did cure this for 60 seconds, and then of course we're going to finish up with a little bit of cuticle oil and a little bit of the K&S Woody Rose hand lotion. So when I'm applying this after doing my nails, I like to do it before fully massaging in the cuticle oil. So I'll apply a little bit, rub it in, and then go in with a little bit of that hand lotion, and then it picks up some of that oil as well and gives you the ultimate soft skin. I do use this hand lotion all the time anyway, so it's such a beautiful product if you haven't already tried it. I love how fresh and soft it leaves the skin feeling. And then what I normally would do is off camera just give the nails a wipe over with a little bit of alcohol, just to remove some of the oiliness before taking pictures. But this was the finished result. I hope you liked them as much as I did, and I hope you all have a wonderful Valentine's Day. Thank you all so much for watching. If you did enjoy today's video, please do give it a thumbs up, leave me a comment below, and hit that subscription button if you haven't already. Lots of love, take care, bye bye.